Hello, and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Podcast. This is the Back of the Bus session.
Hello and welcome to the Old Farm Bus Back of the Bus Sessions podcast. Today I've got a new mate that I'm really looking forward to exploring. I've never met you before.
You haven't?
But I've heard you many a time and I'm really excited about this. So welcome on the bus, Tom Dawson!
Thank you, man. Happy to be here.
Sorry, I got
excited.
mental.
No, I love it. I love the
Bit too much
enthusiasm,
energy.
man.
How are you holding up, dude?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, with everything going on, it is what it is, isn't it? Like, you just got to plough through.
What were you doing when you found out COVID was a thing? What was your existence?
Well, we were, obviously, with the company I work for, like, we all work in a big office, so it was like, there was kind of talks of it happening anyway, like when the cases were rising in Jan, so we kind of knew that something was coming.
You knew in Jan?
Well,
I was just reading the
along
news in March. Everything's great.
Reading the news and stuff, you'd see like this. Oh, there's this new virus in China. It's like, oh, what is it? Oh, it'll never affect us. It'll never affect us. And then all of a sudden, it was right on the doorstep, and you locked down for however long it was.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
We're doing
it's
a what?
It's like started in March, and I've blinked, and it's 2021, and it's come out of nowhere.
It's been wild, hasn't it?
Yeah,
it really has.
It's given a chance to get stuck into some music though. Like,
what is it you're doing in this office? What?
I'm a merchandiser, so it's like PVC, product value chain, like supply chain, that kind of stuff. So replenishment, but obviously music's the real passion,
the root of it. Yeah, but did that root in to that job because of music? Because obviously merch and music hand in hand.
The alliteration, but no, it was. So I moved to Nottingham about 5 years ago to kind of pursue a career in hospitality management, because I dropped out of uni for hospitality because I was like really into cocktails and spirit training and stuff like that. Yeah, so I was
as in really passionate.
Yeah, like I was giving training sessions and stuff like that. Like I was really into my cocktails. I've got stacks of books on them and stuff.
What can you do all the fancy business?
Bits and bobs.
Yeah.
nothing like Tom Cruise in Cocktail.
Yeah, I've seen it.
There's some incredible flair bartenders out there that put me to shame.
Do you know I love movie facts? Could he actually do that, or is that some trickery?
No, he could do it. Yeah, he trained to do it.
Actors are cool, aren't they? There's some
jack of all trades.
Yeah, who I think it was Leonardo DiCaprio, but played about 12 instruments. And was it Leonardo DiCaprio?
I have no idea.
You looked at me then like, definitely not.
No, I've never like. And obviously Leo is incredible. I mean,
one of my favourite actors.
Yeah. I watched Wolf of Wall Street again the other day, actually, on New Year's Day.
Yeah,
it's an amazing film. It just doesn't get boring.
I've never watched a film where I thought he's not played this role very well.
No, I didn't really like The Revenant.
No?
But that's just because it was
slow.
Just a bit slow moving, whereas all of his other roles have been kind of a bit more...
I think it needed to be, though. That just watching that film, I suppose that's the development of evolution and how the beat, I suppose and in that
how
time,
you're overcoming adversity.
Yeah, it suited that role.
Definitely. But we're already off on a tangent.
We are going down. Here we go, guys. Strap in. So when I get people on this podcast, I ask them to give me sort of 5 things about them.
Oh yeah, I can't remember what I sent to you now.
No, but it was so musically influenced.
Yeah.
So has that genuinely been your path throughout being yay big?
Well, yeah. I mean, my mum and dad have both really been into music. Like for as long as I can remember, they'd always have like stacks of CDs in the car. Or my dad once subscribed to this. It was like a subscription service, and every month you'd get 2 discs of like songs that were coming up, like radio promos.
Cool.
So we always had those on in the car. Like my mum and my sister both played flute.
Okay.
My nan
It was just even listening to that then, I was laughing because how times have come. How old are you? 26?
26, yeah.
You're 26 and you're talking maybe 20 years ago there.
Yeah,
and
probably.
he's subscribing and getting these old ancient discs.
Yeah, like CDs. Like, who buys CDs anymore? But
and what sort of music was it? What?
All sorts. Like literally,
mix.
huge. Like my dad's a massive country music fan, but he also likes his like pop hits, and 80s has always been huge. Like he's really into like number ones, so he's got like big books of number ones for like each week of the year and stuff like that. So
do you have a lot of musical knowledge then? Who was number one at certain time?
I know what was number one when I was born.
Go on then.
It was what's the song from Love Actually that they changed to Christmas is All Around Us? Love is All Around Us or something.
Could you
was
sing
it Simply
a bit?
Red? Love is all around us, and then the feeling goes. Like that one.
You got a lovely voice, dude. This is why you ended up on this bus. I heard that on BBC Radio. What was it, East Midlands?
Yeah, East Mids.
Listening in, the beat, the voice.
Continual adjustment to loss.
Man. Because honestly, dude, I'll let the audience know our little muting. I was waiting for my track to be played on the same show.
Yeah.
So me and Chrissy just had it in on the background for the night. And there was some really good artists on
I've been listening to a few songs from that show still now.
It was really good. And I'd like to look up everybody that's on if it hits me.
Yeah.
But that was genuinely, I really mean this, that was a song, and I've never messaged anybody listening in, and you're the first person I did, because it just hit me. It was incredible. What did you do for that track then? How did it all come about?
Well, first of all, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh,
that
mate,
really means a lot,
I
honestly,
really mean it. It was incredible.
We put a lot of work into that one. It was like... So I was, at the start of lockdown, I've always been into dance music, so all I've really made before I was making like the lo-fi kind of stuff was dance music, house, garage, bassline, grime, bit of drill. Like, I got into music.
Have you ever rapped on a grime?
No. I don't think my voice would suit it. If I was to rap it, it'd probably be hip-hop.
Yeah.
But again, that's a long way off. But yeah, it's, when lockdown came in, I kind of just like, right, the clubs aren't going to be open. I can't live stream because my internet's whack. So I'm not going to be playing any gigs. So why don't now use this time as like a way to explore other genres, just to start try and work it in, because I've always loved hip hop and just the kind of like the down tempo kind of stuff, like bonobo.
Oh,
and
mate,
like really orchestral kind of stuff.
Keep giving it to me.
So
have you heard of Nujabes as well?
I've not heard Nujabes.
Oh, I'll send you that later.
Yeah, please.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so for that one I made the beat. Like the whole beat was me, and had that, and then I think I put it on my story, and the other guy that I did it with, who sings the main vocal line, Lawrence, he was like, send me this now.
Yeah.
So I just pinged him over the MP3, and then he was like, I've done a thing. I was like, what have you done? And he sent it me back, and there was just these really gorgeous swells of strings underneath, and violas and cellos and stuff, and I was like, this is perfect. We need a vocal. And then he came round to mine once the restriction had been lifted. He came round to mine and we had a bit of a jam session and had like we almost had like a little writing session, and just because I just bought a one of the Korg Mini Log XDs, like a little outboard synth, so we were playing on that, and then it was like, you've written to that song, haven't you? It's like, I've got something. So it's like, right, let's put the beat in, get it on. And then he literally, I knew he had like I think he had the chorus, like the main line. I think it was the, what if living was all that we're living for? What if pricelessness was just an afterthought? Like, that's the bit that he had written. And then the rest of it, he could just completely freestyled, like on the spot, one take.
What, there?
Yeah, like at mine.
Way.
And just freestyled the rest of it. And I was like, are you serious?
Beautiful.
You've just pulled that out your ass. And then
could you tell as well? Had he definitely done it on the spot?
Well, that's how he writes most of his stuff. Really? Like, I'm useless at writing lyrics.
Yeah,
but he starts to like.
You go to schools and everyone's like, "Sir, come and do a freestyle." I'm like, there was a cat, and
not that kind of poet.
Why don't we go back to Dr. Zeus? Yeah,
but yeah, and then I heard that line, "What if living was all that we're living for? What if pricelessness was just an afterthought?" And I was like, that needs more emphasis on it. Let's look at other tracks around and see what they do to kind of make that sound a bit fuller. And the main thing is like a really, almost like up an octave, but like really passionately singing loud from the gut, like almost screaming. And I just layered that up, did something like that, and I just did that in one take as well. And I was like, why is this working? Like, this has never happened before. Why is it all just falling into place? And then now we've got 3 tracks pretty much written, and one that we're just waiting to finish off, and then hopefully we'll have an EP coming out spring, summertime.
Really, listening to these stories though, I genuinely get this biggest wholesome feeling and buzz, because it recognises with me, I got into poetry and did it all for sort of self.
Yeah.
But then later on, I started meeting the Knots heads and different musical artists, having sessions on here, Derby, all over, having sessions. But then I started coming out my shell a little bit more in creativity, because I was always so nervous. I didn't want to broadcast it and show it show it off. Then got a little bit of recognition, thought this is nice. But then actually collaborating, that was another milestone where I thought, I don't know if I can work alongside. But out of everything I've ever done, everything I've done in the creative scene, in schools, in anything, collaborations are where my heart sits. It's just beautiful because they come up with an idea, then you bounce off each other, and then you stop buzzing and going, oh mate.
What I find great about collaborating, especially with someone like Lawrence as well, is like his skill set is amazing where mine lacks, and my skill set works where his lacks.
Harmonise that.
So I probably shouldn't say it. I don't really play any instruments. Like I can't. I don't feel comfortable
this is
playing
great
an instrument.
to hear, because
like having a guitar and holding a guitar, it just feels a little bit uncomfortable to me. And like, I'm starting to learn piano now. Now I've got my keyboard, but I don't really play any instruments really, other than sing a bit.
This is quite fascinating.
So I was
really,
more,
man.
I was more like in Logic and like more the sound processing and sound design.
So we've heard a bit of that story. Let's go back then. We went negated from family a bit, and then we're going to get into your musical roots.
Yeah, of course.
So if you've never played an instrument, what was that journey then?
Well, in school, like learnt the recorder. Everybody learns the recorder in like primary school, and then got to high school. Took music as one of my options, and I was learning guitar, so I can still play guitar to a certain extent. But
here's a G.
I like G, C, A. Like I know my basic chords and stuff, but nothing.
That's just all just together, simple.
What did Phoebe call it? Old lady hand or something. But then
smelly cat.
in like year 10, year 11, when we started to do the GCSE work, they got us on Cubase. I think it was Cubase 2.
What's Cubase?
It's just like a Logic, like just another DAW.
GarageBand.
Yeah. So like just another DAW. But as soon as I got onto that, one of the assignments was to make a dance track, and I was kind of
how old were you?
Maybe 14, 15.
Kids, what a cool teacher.
Yeah, innit? It was insane. Like computers all around the side of the class, and then they all had Cubase on. And then as soon as my teacher showed me that, I was like, this is all I ever want to do.
Really?
Like, sack the guitar off. I just want to sit here and do this. Like this is way more fun because it wasn't just like one sound. It was like thousands of sounds, and then cutting them up. You can then obviously write your own chords in, and then you can import drum sounds, and then you can make drum beats. And I was like, why is nobody else doing this?
I don't have this perspective, but it does get a bad rap as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, you're not a real musician, or you don't know music. But this must be the case in a lot. There must be, I don't know, Calvin Harris or somebody like that.
Calvin Harris is an incredible musician.
As in, he can play everything as well. I'm just thinking there must be examples of people who don't know how to, but have just learnt that to its core. Because I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I just kind of focused on that more than learning an instrument and learning the music theory, which granted has definitely set me back a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of learning music theory as I go now, and I'm getting better at it. But I've definitely taken the hard way out.
Yeah.
Like to get there.
So then you're making your first dance track.
Yeah.
It's booming. Did you get an A+?
I can't even remember, mate.
Let's say you smashed it. Let's say all the students were in there giving it some.
Yeah.
Did you just make dance tracks then for... Well, then, however long.
Following that, I went to college and did music technology, and that was all based on Logic. And then it was learning how to record bands in a proper studio,
right?
How to set up your different microphones, like how to mic up amps for guitars, how to mic up drums with the correct mic on the correct drum, and learning how to use patch bays. And like it was so cool. Like we had 2 or 3 studios in our college, and I basically spent 3 years there, just in the studios. Yeah, well, I did AS levels to begin with, flunked that hard.
Why?
I got 2 Ds and 2 Us because I was doing AS levels, and I'm not like academically gifted. I'm definitely more on like
creative
the vocation.
Spectrum.
Yeah, definitely. I did psychology, chemistry, music technology and media studies, and I got a D in music technology and media, and I got a U in chemistry and psychology.
How can they give you U's? Did you?
Got 13 out of 100, mate. That's what you get. That was my chemistry exam. And I paid 35 quid to retake it.
I can imagine
15 out of 100.
How many?
So I paid 35 quid to retake the test, and then I got 14 out of 100 on the first one. Paid to retake it and got 15 out of 100. Probably might as well punch myself in the face. Consistently shite.
I can just imagine you sitting down there looking at it, and it's just like hieroglyphs dancing across the page.
It literally was. It was just
right, my life's over.
It's like I almost got instant dyslexia. Like, look, I'm not dyslexic, but if dyslexia was to hit at any point, it was definitely that one. Yeah, literally, it's like a scene from Inception or something.
Oh, dude, I remember that with it. I didn't get to take my exams. I got asked to leave at some point.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was just a naughty boy. I remember this one time, it was pretty much my final straw, but me and my mate had a massive water fight in the art rooms.
Amazing.
And then we just decided to go up the walls, but then it was the unmarked GCSE wall.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, the whole wall. And I'm not proud of this action. I think I've stated it on here before, and I really deserve all them dodgy looks I'm getting right now. But because I was saying the other day, I lost a few poems on my phone.
Yeah.
But it just decided, like we've said about technology, they're just gone.
Gone.
No, they're not. You can't do that to me. But it broke a piece of me because I thought there were some of my best lyrics on there. So karma comes round,
eventually.
And I understand what happens when you lose something that you put so much effort and time into.
Yeah.
So it did break me a little bit.
I can imagine, man.
And I can reflect back to that moment now.
The amount of times where I've accidentally overloaded Logic with plugins without saving, and it's just crashed the whole project. And I'm like, this is why you save at the start.
I've got a Logic Pro X now, but does it save it for you? Sort of.
It'll save a backup, I think, but for like all the main designing sound patches and stuff on synths, and then not saving them is probably the worst.
Can you remember your worst loss? It's like we're talking of death now. It's close enough when you lose a hard drive, though.
I don't think I've ever lost like enough of a project for it to be a massive problem. Like I've always salvaged the bits that needed salvaging. I've always had enough to kind of get it back, basically. But it always crashes in the mixdown stage. Like once you've got all your levels set, and then you bounce them all out to stem. Sometimes I'll bounce them out to stems and sometimes I won't, but if I won't, the CPU just drives through the roof.
Oh, dude.
And then
these are all words I've had to learn on the job. Excuse me, Mr. Computer. Why is it so slow?
Give me words. Give me the vocab.
It be CPU, it will.
But yeah, the amount of times I've got
to cave my Mikey.
Just smashing the keyboard and hoping something happens.
Oh, the amount of time, because we've picked pretty tempestuous jobs to go into. Videography, man, all it needs is a corrupt file,
and that's the whole project.
Yeah, that's gone. You've been there for the whole day. You've shot from 9 o'clock till 9 o'clock probably. Get home, have a cup of tea, sit down, put your SD card in. Corrupted files.
Whole day of filming wasted.
But why?
Doesn't even come up with a warning when you were filming it. Nothing.
I mean, you can't really go around punching walls at that point because there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's just gone. You've kind of just got to really quickly accept the fact that it's gone.
Excuse us, lads. I know you really hate me, and we're probably never going to work together again. But this has just happened. And it's more for me though when I'm working with a client or somebody.
That's always the worry.
That's when it hurts me because my own stuff. You put infinite amount of time into your own project, won't you?
Yeah, of course.
If it's you, like me and Chrissy did a project together the other day.
I saw, was that your the lyric video that went up today?
Yeah, and if somebody asked me, can you do that lyric video for us? Of course I'd try and do it, but it's like a 3-day project, really.
Yeah, it's like non-stop working.
Constant drawing, tethering, writing, moving.
Well, so they all hand-drawn then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's insane.
She's really creative, Chrissy. It's good to have an awesome partner.
Well, you've just started the Handmade Revolution.
Handmade Revolution, yeah. She's had that up a little while, but it was more doing like hats and business like that. But now she's trying to get into the animation side of things. Yeah. I think art in general is what she wants.
Yeah.
I like art
in all of its forms.
But yeah, that's it. For your own project, we put in so much time.
Yeah.
But when you're working for others, there's got to be a balance, hasn't there?
Definitely.
This amount of money warrants this amount of time and this amount of task force.
Yeah.
But sometimes I put in so much more extra effort for people than need be maybe, but I do want it to be as best you can for them.
Because at the end of the day, it's your name on it as well.
Exactly that. So you go, you know what, I'm happy to go them miles, but then your bloody Mac just goes, by the way,
goes, nope.
all of that whack. Actually, that was, I had it on a hard drive once, and my cat, I wasn't petting him. He was sat there nuzzling me, and then my cat is so bloody spiteful. I saw him look at my hard drive, and he must have known the amount of shit on there, because he just looked down and went, whack. And I just looked at it on the floor, and I heard it go. Oh man,
cheeky bastards.
I took it to a guy, this special Mac guy, trying to charge me 200 quid. I was like, okay, I need it off of there.
They'll fleece you.
Couldn't even get it off.
It's because it's Mac as well.
Oh
like,
yeah, just
see, any Apple product they'll charge double for.
Dude,
like I just got the new MacBook Pro, and that's all USB-C. So they changed all the USB ports.
Bastards.
Everything
that one there.
Yeah. Everything that I've got one of them as well. I've had to get that because I've got all my stuff's just normal USB.
Take the piss out of us, don't they?
It's ridiculous.
By the way, guys. You don't need a USB anymore.
Yeah.
You need a USB-C.
New phone?
Yeah.
Don't need your charger.
Hey guys, I know you like talks, but we've got something way better for you. No, that's what all my headphones belong to.
All my headphones are aux. Only you do this one.
They're really, really ruthless with it as well, because they don't care. They just go, yeah, that's what we've done. Just deal with it.
Cash money, baby.
But then again, AirPods are great.
I can't get into wireless headphones.
Really?
I always have like stuff like this on.
Man, I'm just trying to get into running. I say that, but I've really lived Christmas. I smashed it to its core.
Indulgence.
I'm going to start running again. But it's so handy not having that wire flicking around, running off, falling out your pocket and stuff.
I've always preferred noise cancelling headphones, because if I've got my headphones in, I don't want anybody to talk to me.
Yeah. So, you've got them big fuck off headphones.
Yeah. One of my school teachers said when we were sat in our form rooms and stuff on parents' evening, I got told that my headphones were surgically glued to my head. Just because I always had my headphones in, I was always listening to music, and it was always ridiculously loud, so everybody around me could hear it.
Did you get in trouble then?
Yeah, well, I wasn't a troublesome kid at school or anything. Like, I just kind of middle of the road.
Did you enjoy your experience there with school?
Nope. Absolutely not. It was awful.
Not a nice environment for you.
It was like, I got a bit bullied, like, kind of, I'm sure a lot of people did.
Hang on a minute, you're an handsome chap, you're a tall chap.
I wasn't in school.
What they got on you?
I've had a lot of work done.
Oh, yeah.
I had like a shoulder length
numbers.
I had a massive shoulder length afro, buck teeth. Like, I've got false teeth now. Like, I had those done a couple of years ago.
Oh wow! Okay.
But it was just it wasn't a learning environment where I felt like I could excel. Like, I learn better when I watch something, like when I watch somebody else do it, and then I can apply that. Whereas school and uni and everything like that was all, you're sitting in front of a teacher, somebody's talking at you, you're making notes, and then you go back and read your notes. Like, I don't really read that much. I probably should more, because I want to get into writing lyrics and maybe writing poetry at some point.
Okay,
so I might pick your brain.
let's get chatting.
Yeah, I know that with that kind of, like, you need to be able to read and find inspiration from writing, but it's just never how I learn. And all these people that are like, oh, I'd love to go back to school. I'd love it. I'd live it all again. And for me, you couldn't pay me enough money not to go back.
I was a troublesome kid, to be fair, and I was really naughty at school. But if I did go back now with the knowledge that I've got now, I think I'd have a very different time.
Yeah, definitely.
They really did just hurdle you all through this process and sit you there passively. And that's probably why we connect quite well, because we're probably very similar people of that creative, more mindset. We need to be up, moving about.
Yeah, hate sat there doing nothing.
But academia and education is tailored and fitting for a certain subcategory of children.
Yeah, exactly.
That will excel so well in it. Probably at home, got a big bookshelf that mum and dad have got, given good homework already before they've even entered the classroom, and had a bit more nurturing. But then there's so many different levels of learning, different layers of it.
Yeah, it's not just one linear thing, is it? Like, loads of kids will learn completely differently. Like, my housemate, for example, has got an eidetic memory, so he can memorize lengths of text like nobody's business, and it's like ridiculous. How anybody can do that, I don't know.
If you sat me now at school in front of Final Cut Pro, I could be teaching the teacher how to do it from stuff that I've learned on YouTube tutorials.
Yeah.
Because I've needed it, because I wanted it to fit in, because I was doing a project and I was learning on the job. It stayed really deep in my memory because it was come from feeling. I had a desperation to learn it. But then when you're at school and you're being told, you need to know this.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember being in a history lesson, I think it was, but we sat there and for nearly the whole hour you're in there, he's just reading out the book and we're writing it down as he's reading it. And I'm dyslexic. And I remember actually...
Absolute nightmare.
This is true, 100% true. I remember halfway through, I started laughing, really, really belly laughing, because I looked back at what I'd wrote and it just didn't make any sense whatsoever. And everyone's like looking at me and I'm like crying with laughter. And I'm just... I can't believe that this... teacher, this authoritative figure is going, this is what works for everybody. It just didn't make any sense.
It's like you say, it's like being told to do something, I won't do it. But if it's like, if you can make me think that it's my idea, I'll be all over it. Like I'm trying to think of an example, I can't off the top of my head, but it's like if you force somebody to do something, they're probably less likely to do it if they want to do it of their own accord. Like you say, I've learned so much more making music and about logic and producing and stuff just from sitting at home browsing YouTube videos than I had in a year and a half of uni.
I tell you what, the school of YouTube is one of the greatest teachers of all time.
It's like the whole Encyclopedia Britannica at your fingertips and some.
Even just, not even with the filmmaking and stuff, but learning for the bus and learning all the DIY stages. To install all the electrics and doing the stage.
Insulating.
Constantly just, right, what's YouTube say? And I think if you give children or young people a task and say, we need to complete this, but you find the way of getting there, it's your decision making, you find what best route is for you, they'll start to develop their techniques. And that's what we need to make, is little mini people with their own navigation system, their own GPS.
Yeah, definitely. Like, because there's so many ways, like the world's changed so much now, and there's so many different avenues that you can generate revenue from and get pleasure from and stuff as well. Like there's tech companies and stuff, for example, like that didn't exist 30 years ago, and now you've got CTOs, like chief technical officers, that specify exclusively in the technology for a company. And like influencers, YouTubers, there's so many different creative outlets now for people to sit passionately in and make money off and make a living off.
I think that word you said then is key. It's the passion. If you can help people build and find a passion in something, that seems to be key. Because my friend Martin Illingworth wrote a book called Forget School, but it seems to be this new way of inventing yourself. And what employees are looking for, it's not all these old school things that we've been told are important and these value
like
systems.
Grades and
the ability to network, the ability to communicate, the confidence you can actually have in self.
Yeah, definitely.
These are all the new skills that are so integral and important in growth of a business or a corporation now. So that's really what they're looking for. They want to meet you and know what you're about.
Good people at the helm, so to speak.
But you seem to be somebody that's got that ingrained in you. So where's that developed from? You've got a good way about you. You've got a nice attitude and a nice persona.
I don't know. I just try not to be a dick, really.
Yeah, I think that's the general rule, isn't it?
Just go through,
Is it growing up in Manchester, though?
I don't know, it could be.
I get good mates from Manchester. I've never met many dicks.
I love Manchester. We moved up there when I was about 2 years old for my dad's job, and the majority of my closest friends all still live in Manchester. Miss them all dearly.
They're just bloody lovely. You lot, hey, up there. How we doing? What a bus.
But yeah, like, my dad's always instilled in me, like, just don't be a dick.
Be nice.
Basically, just be nice, be polite, be professional.
Did he ingrain hard work to you, though? Did he go, you've got to get a good job, you've got to do well, You've got to do this?
He came home, he got me a job at 14.
Really?
Like, I sacked off my paper round, and he was like, you need to get a job. I'm like, I'm 14. I don't think I do.
FIFA 14's just come out.
I've got an Xbox that I need to play, actually. I don't really want one of those. But he came home from the pub one day. He'd been at watching the football with a couple of his mates.
Yeah.
He came back from the pub. He was like, I've got your job. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I told you I didn't want one. It's like, no, you're washing dishes in the pub.
Okay.
Like, you what? No. It's like, you're going down there, you're having an interview, you're going to be professional, and you're going to get a job, and you're going to earn some money. And I was like,
fair.
Well, I guess I'm not got a choice in this, have I? And then that's what kind of kicked me off in working hospitality. So from there, I went from washing dishes to like prepping starters and desserts, and then learning to do mains, and I was chefing for a bit. And then when I turned 18, I went on the bar, and then that's when I kind of started
the cocktails come into play.
And then when I got to Sheffield and I was in uni and I dropped out of uni to pursue that, and then when I was working my way up I was working for Brown's Bar and Brasserie in the Peace Gardens in Sheffield. Beautiful venue. It's like an old military shop or something. It's really cool. But my manager was saying, look, you're really good at this and there's nowhere for you to go here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm your manager. None of the other management are going anywhere. The best I can do here is leave you in charge when I'm not around. So if you're looking for a move and you want to pursue it, I used to work in Nottingham. I can probably hook you up with some work there, or tell you what, let's take the train over, we'll have a day out. So we went out and did like a tour of all the bars in all his favourite bars in Nottingham.
That's
absolutely
cool.
Wankered. But I had a pack of CVs with me, go in every bar we went in, just drop a CV in. And then I ended up working at Turtle Bay, and then I went to Coco Tang, then Masula.
Why was this guy so nice to you? Was he just a really close friend?
One of my best mates.
Really?
Scotty, like he just saw that I was passionate about making the drinks, and like we had a bartender's choice board, so I was always like running ideas past him for drinks and stuff, and he'd teach me some stuff, and he basically trained me up on the bar and taught me everything that I know about cocktails, so I owe a lot to Scotty.
So when because you went through the ranks, you're from dishes and then you're going up to cocktails, but you did a bit of chefing. Did that not speak to your soul? Were you not?
I still love cooking now. Like I'll knock up a risotto on a Sunday, no problem.
Baby.
Like, I love cooking. It's amazing, but it's intense.
Yeah.
And when it's middle of summer, 35 degrees, and then you're in the kitchen as well with all the fryers on, the ovens on,
I think it's a step down from joining the army, honestly. I was a pot washer, and
it's
people
tough,
are like, do you
man.
want to go at chefing? I look over like, they look in miserable pain.
it's like when it's like 30-40 degrees outside, and then it's even hotter in the kitchen because all the heat from all the ovens and stuff, and then you've got head chef shouting in one ear, chef de party shouting in your other, fetch this, fetch that.
And then when one order comes back and they go, they didn't like it, or it's wrong,
then it kicks off, and then it's effing and blinding and shouting and all sorts.
Did you have a bad head chef?
No, my head chef was amazing. His name was Paul. He was brilliant.
Really?
Just a big guy, bullshit character, didn't take any shit.
I genuinely love cooking. I think I know some combinations of what go well together, and I've got my own stint and style on it, but my head chef, who was in the kitchen when I was there,
proper slave driver,
he just put me off. I really wanted to go. I was kind of really keen to get behind the knife.
But then he'd be like,
oh man, just watching him, and he made so many waitresses. Every shift, if he didn't make someone cry, you sort of went, is he all right? Is he on the edge?
Something's going really well for him today.
Or wrong.
Or wrong, yeah.
Yeah, that genuinely put me off it. But I've been in a few kitchens, and still they're not most pleasant places.
No, they're not. And especially if, like, I've worked in kitchens where the chefs have fallen out with their chef de parties, and like there's been a bit of a kick-off. Like, I've seen people get punched, stuff's been thrown across the room, bowls, plates, all sorts.
Sounds like an episode of Shameless.
I worked in a kitchen once, and the food came back twice, and the chef just picked it up and smashed it on the floor and was like, they're not having anything else. And
really?
And it was like,
did they have anything else?
No. It was like, they didn't want anything else. They're like, I've sent it back twice, I don't want anything else. It's like, right, no dessert? No, because that'll probably come back as well.
Mate. I struggle with rude people, man.
Yeah,
that's my biggest pet peeve.
I've always been told, treat people how you want to be treated.
Mate, that's on my arm. Well, it's just that the golden rule in all religions, if you decipher it, there's one rule that's in every single scripture, and it's the golden rule, is treat others as you wish to be treated. Yeah. That's how you decipher that rule.
If somebody comes up to me and they're a dick, or like they're mouthy and they're a bit rude, instead of instantly going on the offensive, you kind of just have to take a step back and just be like, it's not me. I've not done anything wrong here. Like, what's caused that? Rather than going straight to, no, you're a dickhead. Yeah. Like, it's just, I find it easier to just try and, what's the word? Quell any animosity in the situation,
that's a nice
then just
word.
be like, why are you being a dick?
I want it resolved here and now. Let's get it down, patch it out.
Working in customer service as well, that really helped, like on the phones. So when I first joined...
You've been around, man.
Oh, I've done all sorts, mate.
You've been from Manchester to Sheffield to Nottingham, then been a chef.
My uni was in Barnsley, so I lived in Barnsley for a year.
Do you like... have you travelled otherwise?
Only with family. Like,
really?
Luckily, my parents... love travelling and have the means to be able to travel as well. So we've done like New Zealand, Singapore, Hong Kong.
How was New Zealand for you? Because I've been to New Zealand.
Bro.
Were you on the South or the North Island?
The first time we hired a camper van and drove down the north and then into the south and back up again.
Did you go to Hobbiton?
No, my parents aren't massive Lord of the Rings fans.
Oh, are you?
I am, yeah. I loved it. On the way there, obviously, the flight from Manchester, we did Manchester to London, London to Hong Kong, and that's a 12-hour flight, and then Hong Kong to Australia, to Sydney, I think it was. That's a 14-hour flight.
We did the exact same journey.
And they had the director's cut of Lord of the Rings on there, so I watched all three just on the first flight. And then there was still like 4 hours left. I was like, are you kidding? I've watched the director's cut of one of the longest trilogies of all time.
God, how long is that? But it's got to be 12 hours or something?
I think they're about 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, so they're about 12 hours.
Yeah, that's wow. Keep going.
Yeah, it's insane.
I remember, because I've done quite a lot of travelling.
I've heard on, I watched the last back of the bus sessions with Tom.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, what a lovely guy he is. Hey,
I
Tom.
love Tom. How you doing, mate?
You best be watching this, mate.
I'm looking forward to getting that track back with you two on it as well.
Dude,
like,
it's special. I'll play you it later because I've had it redone. From your words, actually, you said if you turn the ad libs down a bit, you might hear the lyricism a bit better, but it sounds
I'm looking forward to
a lot more clear.
But I remember you saying you went to South Africa, didn't you?
I did a year in South Africa, a year in Oz. I've been away just recently to New Zealand, well, last year. But I was quite equipped to travel and quite equipped to be on aeroplanes in terrible conditions. But my missus,
just crammed in the back.
It was Chris's first time away.
Ever?
Not really ever. I think she'd been to Berlin because she's from Germany.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, yeah, Giljohann.
Nice.
And
great techno scene in Berlin.
Dude, we were going to go for a few nights there. But this was so funny because I think we're about 9 to 10 hours in the flight, just getting towards Hong Kong.
And you start to get a bit tetchy and it's
I've watched the film, I've gone to sleep, I've played a few games and gone back to sleep, but Chrissy, I just look over and her eyes have glazed over and she's playing Tetris and she's just been, she didn't realise, but she's been playing for about 12 hours and she's like
lost like that.
And I just look over and I go, are you alright? And she went, they've took my shoes. I honestly thought she'd lost it, but they hadn't even taken the shoes. They'd just got under the seat a bit.
Yeah.
But she's like, they're taking my shoes, and just on this massive high. I thought, right, okay, we need to sort out the next arrangement. I don't know how you can sleep on a plane,
man. Like the noise and stuff. Like when you hear about these Americans taking, because obviously 12-hour flight from LA to New York, innit? And I watch a lot of like Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, Two Bears One Cave. Love that podcast. But when you hear about them doing East Coast to West Coast and like, just pop a Xanax and pass out, and it's like, how easy would that be? Pop a pill.
We've got to remember what they're flying on though. They're going to be nice
first class. Yeah.
Because I think I was coming back from South Africa and they messed my flight up. So I had another flight the next day.
Yeah.
We got delivered in this, because I think the Irish rugby team are playing, and there was about 8 players on this massive not a limo, but it was a beautiful bus. It wasn't like a normal bus. And we all got delivered to the airport together, and then we got put in first class all the way home on like 3 different flights.
So I thought you meant they messed your flight up, as in they put you.
Well, they did. The first day I was supposed to be there. Sorry, your flight's been delayed or messed or whatever. I was just like, oh no, you're going in first class though, and that was it. So they put us in a Hilton hotel
overnight. Winner
in there. The Irish rugby team were all in there. Delivered to the
Guinness on tap.
Oh mate, it was that was really special. I must admit, after doing first class all the way back, it messed up flying for me after that.
Yeah, my mum and dad went to Australia last November, and they flew business class, and they were like, if you ever want to go travelling, you pay for what a normal flight would be. And my dad was like, I'll top you up to business class because it's an experience that you'll never ever forget.
It's true. Yeah, you're having
champagne
a shower,
on arrival. Yeah,
lying down. You're in first.
It's like a hotel.
See you later,
it's
peasants.
a flying hotel. I'd love it. I'd do exactly the same thing.
It's pretty special.
Cow class is that way, or first class is that way. It's like, right,
dude. I will never forget that experience. I was just laughing the whole way there, but I wouldn't go to sleep because I
just want to enjoy it.
Imagine if I get on there, have an hour, watch a bit of a film, sleep, and wake up and I'm there. It'd be heartbreaking.
Yeah, I suppose then you wouldn't experience it.
All them little moments. They come and bring scallops for. Honestly, man, we had scallops and champagne, and they were just walking around, popping one off like it was a piece of popcorn. Like, oh, thank you very much.
Love scallops as well. Canapes and champagne. What a way to fly.
Yeah, quite special.
Love it.
But yeah, that was my story on Chrissy being a bit weird. So, let's go to music again. Let's run around this podcast, man. I'm just over here dancing over there.
Keep it free flowing, man. I'm down.
Have you been the most creative you've been during this lockdown when you've not been able to do much?
Yeah.
Have you managed to get a lot achieved, a lot done?
I've written more music in lockdown than I've written prior.
Really?
Basically, yeah. Because what it's made me realise is that I was making excuses for not making music. Like, I can go to the pub, or I'll just go out and do this, or I'll just watch a bit of telly. Whereas lockdown just kind of made me go, right.
After a week of doing that,
you can't go out.
Loses its novelty.
Yeah. You can't go out. There's nothing else. There's literally nothing's open. So you can only stay at home, and you can either watch TV or you can be productive. So it's like, right, just get to it.
So what's your process then? What are you doing?
For starting?
Yeah, to get inspired for a bit of an idea and then going further.
Good question. Because it's different for every track. Like with the lo-fi stuff, I was listening to a load of lo-fi because obviously sitting in your room and just banging techno is fun for a while, but like you say, it's nice to mix things up. So I was listening to loads of lo-fi, and then I started picking apart, like, producing for me is ruined music. Like every song I
hear that from so many producers.
Picking it apart, like, and then
that's only got 4 layers.
Yeah.
And that's like, lo-fi for you.
But yeah, so then I started to pick it apart. I was like, right, so there's like 3 melodies. One, it starts with one melody, and then a second melody comes in to interlock with that one, and then a third melody will come in and lock over that, and then the drums are all nice and crunchy, so you don't need like mega clean samples. You can just chop them out of a song that you've heard and literally just pop it straight in. If there's little cracks and pops, even better, because it's lo-fi, and you're only going to whack a bloody vinyl crackle underneath it anyway to give it that lo-fi aesthetic. So,
too clean.
But I find this is where like it really lets me down with, I can't write melody. I find it really difficult to write melodies. It's not that I can't write melodies, but like I find it really difficult to put chords together, and there's like certain instruments that I'll avoid because it's just like too complicated to work out right now. I want to just get something down and do it like this. But for most tracks, it starts with a melody. If like, especially for lo-fi and stuff, because everything's so melodic in it. So all the instrumentation's really carefully crafted, and then even to an extent, the drums are even melodic. Like all the little pops and clicks. You can line those up so that they make a little like choppy melody underneath the drums. So it depends. Like if I'm doing a house track, it's always the kick drum and the bass that I'll start with, because they're the 2 main focuses of a house track. Or
do you have a genre or anything that really speaks to your soul? Is it more house or is it more garage? Or
I love music. Like just in general. Like I'll listen. Sometimes you can come upstairs and catch me listening to a concerto, or you'll come up and I'll be blasting Phil Collins. And then,
is that like, constant as well?
Yeah,
Does music just follow you?
Like I don't like sticking to one genre because I get bored. I get bored of listening to the same. Like, don't get me wrong, love electronic music, but some house starts to all sound the same eventually, and then you go into all the little subgenres, and then they all start to sound the same. So it's like just always looking for just something a bit different. Like I love a good pop track with a good hook, but it's got to be a pop track that's different to every other pop track, if that makes sense.
So let's go with your writing then. Have you started to experiment? Have you started to explore?
Well, now I'm working a bit closer with Lawrence, who I did that Continual Adjustment to Lost tune with. He's an incredible lyricist,
really,
and writes all of his own stuff, writes poetry and stuff as well. So I've been picking his brain. He'd be great on here as well.
Oh mate, we'll get chatting. 100%.
I'll have to.
I'll listen to a bit more of his stuff because it was he's breathtaking.
He just churns out music like nobody's business.
Really,
it's insane.
Me and him would get on a good vibe then.
Definitely.
Is he of the merit of just enjoys creating, just enjoys releasing?
Like he's the same as me. Like worked in office jobs and done bits and bobs here and there, and just loves music. Has always been there.
Would you say it's a passion project for you, or
definitely,
would you want it more so though? Is that
in terms of?
Would you like it to be a job, an occupation, music?
Yeah,
ideally,
definitely.
Or
the dream is to pay off my mortgage with my music.
Yeah, is that the dream?
Yeah, because then as long as I don't want to be super rich, I don't want a yacht. It'd be nice.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. It would be really
what about
nice.
Scallops while you have to fly somewhere?
Yeah, I'd really go for some scallops and some champagne. If you opened that door to me when I arrived and gave me scallops and champagne, I'd be moving in. But
you just got a dodgy coffee.
It wasn't dodgy. It was all right.
All right. I've
had worse.
Cafetiere.
But yeah, it's definitely a passion project. And when I was younger, and I was getting into producing music, like my mum and dad bought me my first set of decks for my 18th birthday. That was like my big present with my first MacBook and stuff. So they're
supportive.
They're really supportive of it. But I was always like, I'm never getting a job. I'm going to be a musician, and that is my job. And then over time, they were kind of like, you need a job. You need to pay your rent. You need to pay your bills. It's like, well, I can just get more gigs. It's like, well, go on then.
Yeah.
And it's, where do you start getting gigs and stuff? Like, it's like they're just.
Did you try for a bit? Were you absolutely ramming everybody's inbox?
No, because that's just not how I like to approach things. So I when it got to the point where I was like, I could really do some money. And then it was like, I should probably get a job now.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, then I moved out at 19, and then kind of went to uni to do music. But then the first year of the course was like recording bands and stuff, and I thought I knew it all, and was just like, I've done this for 2 years, like, why am I doing this again?
Did you get an ego check?
A couple of times I got ego checked, but then I continued to think that I was better. So that's when I kind of dropped out and was like, well, I'm learning more sat in my room just reading forums and going on YouTube than I'm in uni for the stuff that I actually want to do. So rather than getting a really well-rounded education on how to work in a studio, which I probably should have listened to, I was just like, I'll just go home and roll a joint, and I'll just sit and make music in my room, and I'll learn better that way. And then I got a big reality check, and it was like, came to actually seriously making music a couple more years down the line, and I'm like, damn, I really should have stayed at that, really. But
do you think so, though? Do you think if it had gone that way, because you don't strike me as that person that caters to that way, facilitates in that way.
I think I'd have benefited more from the networking side of being in uni. So like the people that were going on and putting events on in Sheffield, and those people that already had like established events that were on the course and stuff like that I might have been able to kind of get into a little bit more and maybe become a resident. But like, it was always, I don't know. Like I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. Like, it was really good, and I met some great people. But it was just, I kind of let myself.
You do sometimes see people grow this uni mentality and uni attitude. Oh, you've not been to uni, yeah? This feeling.
And people who look down on other people because they haven't done uni.
A lot, and I've got so many good friends that have been to uni, so many that haven't. So I try and come with a nuanced perspective and understanding of it all. But those that do have this, you know what, I've grown up a little bit quicker, I've been to uni, I'm trying to get things, really don't.
I'm in a really stable job.
They need that reality check more than anything, because it's still a very bubble-wrapped, sheltered lifestyle.
Yeah,
uni.
for sure.
You're pretty safe. You're in a environment a bit more growing, a bit more out there.
You've got a few more freedoms than you did have in your parents' house, or even in your halls. When you go from halls to a house,
it's not
it's
far from
different.
school, is it? Let's be real.
It's not. School's just posh babysitting. Like, it's just Yeah.
Learning is beautiful. Learning, educating yourself, filling yourself with information. But I think the people that I've noticed most successful, I think Elon Musk speaks about this in a podcast he did, but he employed these guys from uni, and, you know, they learnt to clock off they start at 9, they clock off at 5, that's them done. Whereas these guys from the hood that have learnt everything on their own accord when they needed to, they've been through the shit, they understand what that tastes like and feels like, they've been through the grind, they wouldn't stop.
They kind of appreciate the grind more than...
He had to explain to them, this isn't work time, and it didn't calculate to them, because they had to push and push and push and reach and further themselves, network as much as they could, and just clutch for this desperation.
Just be a knowledge sponge and just take everything in as much as you can.
I'm not saying uni's not a wonderful place to go, because it is a great networking opportunity. It is a great place to be filled with information and be thirsty for it.
Yeah.
But I reckon the two avenues aren't bad. Like, if you go the other way,
you can still turn out just as
there's
good
probably
as if you didn't go.
More so. There's more drive. There's more need to fulfill that role, to build yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So because you haven't got that jump off of coming from uni, you almost feel like you've got to work a bit harder to get there. I think that's
when you're out in the real world then. You're sort of out in the open a bit earlier on. You're going, right, so how do I conduct this? Whereas you've got lecturers and friends and people telling you, well, I'm going to do this.
You can bounce
off.
Maybe
I'll just go down this path and go down this path. When you've just been dropped on your arse, here you go, try this out. And I've had it in filmmaking even. I've managed to conduct myself enough to get clients in and different artists, and I had friends that have done 4 years at uni, got a master's, done this, come out and then said to me, out of interest, Mikey, how do you get clients? Because I've done all this, I've got this piece of paper and it's told me everything
to my name,
but I've not got any work in or anything. And you have to just say, well, there's networking involved, and there's working till midnight or 3 in the morning, and you've got to get up at 7 in the morning and start again. I'm not being an egotist in this sense. I'm just saying that were the sort of things that I learned on the journey, not going to uni and not doing the conventional route.
It's just like you don't come out of uni with a master's and then instantly the work comes flooding in. You've still got to put that work in to get the work, and, like you say, to network and meet those people that want the work doing. Because if you just stayed in your room and did your master's and didn't talk to anybody, just so that you could, that sense of achievement that you've got a master's is fantastic. But then if you come out and you don't have anywhere to use it and anybody to use it for, it kind of sits then, doesn't it?
Mate, 100%. And I see, I did go straight from school, kicked out, but then to Australia, and every day was just what the are we going to do today? Like, where's my next bit of money coming in? I want to go out with the guys, but I've just realised that the account's got barely anything in it. But
I should probably go get some
I'm going to get
so
kicked out of the hostel, and then I'm sleeping on a beach, and I've had this all happen in my life.
That's not. So when you left for Australia, when you came straight out of school, how old? Like 16, 17?
17. Me and my mate, 18, I think we were. Late 17 going on 18.
Yeah. So this was in college, and then you just went straight
to... we had a chat. His dad's a very philosophical guy.
Yeah.
And we were sat there. I've got the first girlfriend I ever went out with on my chest. I think I was 15. It's not a problem. I think she had my name down here.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be with each other forever. But
and then life takes over.
I had a strange rocky start to life, got attached to love, felt like a need for validation and people to be there for me. So, you know, for me, it was either be in this relationship for the rest of my life or just escape.
Just leave.
Get out of here. So me and my best mate, Jagger, same age, same ideas, didn't know what we wanted to do. Maybe the Marines, maybe we'd go in that direction. We were very fit, and I was into boxing. Then we had a chat with his dad, who didn't really think that was for us. And he just got drunk on the night, and he just said, lads, why don't you just bugger off? Go somewhere. What about Australia? What about this place? And literally the next day, I rang up Jagger and I said, shall we go? And don't worry, man.
Yeah.
I said, shall we go? And then he sort of like looked at me. Well, I rang him up. He stuttered for about a minute and went, I'm booking flights. And then went and booked the flights for probably a month away. we're like, right, we've got to get a visa, got to get da-da-da-da-da.
That's insane.
But then it all started, the learning kicked in, and it was very quick because people who had just left uni were probably out there travelling, a bit older, maybe 25, 26. So I'm meeting them sort of people. I'm very young-minded, so we're going out all the time. I took with about $3,000 out with me, thinking this is going to last forever, man. We are going to have the time of our life, never going to have to work again.
And then 6 days in.
Dude, I promise you, we were about 2 weeks in, and then I got a sign on my door, and it literally said, your card's declined. And I was like, no, because I've got loads of money in there. And went up, I had this cash passport or whatever it's called.
To get cash out.
So my normal bank account kept drip feeding into there. But I probably had about $1,000 left, but I spent $2,000 in a stupid just going out, Moe, whatever it was. I'm buying rounds for the whole bar. But then I was like, okay, now we're in a bit of territory I'm not comfortable because I'm supposed to be here a year.
Yeah, I know. I now have nothing.
Then we're looking for jobs and we're panicking.
Was this before you had to do the farm work then for your visa?
No, because you get a year visa as it is. If you do 2 years,
you then do 80 hours or something.
You've got to do some farm work and get 2 years. But yeah, there was a hostel we went to, and it did decline in the end, and I had no money to replenish it with. So me and him were just walking around on the beach, like, this is tonight then. Next morning, man. Got in an internet cafe, looked at a thing called woofing when you're travelling. It's
I've seen that. It's kind of like a network of hostels, isn't it?
Yeah, like Gumtree or something like that. But we found this job in the armpit, I call it, of Australia. It's this tiny little area called Emerald, and went and worked out there for 3 months. But it was just the most important stage of my life, I think, for growth.
Just while you're developing that young mindset as well. Like,
I didn't get a passion necessarily. I didn't equip myself with some really important characteristics, but the most important was just life, just in general.
Just take it all in, just enjoy it. And it's those experiences are the ones that will shape you more than any lesson in school will.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Like just getting out, like traveling anywhere is just going to teach you something, whether it's some words in a new language or whether it's like an experience that you never thought you'd have. Like I did a bungee jump and a skydive when I was in New Zealand, 15,000 foot skydive.
Oh,
I've never done anything like it before in my life. It's like you're coming down on, it's like jumping into Google Earth.
Yeah.
Like it's all just completely flat, and then as you start to get lower and lower and lower, the perspective comes in, and it's like it goes from 2D to 3D. I didn't speak for about 24 hours. I was absolutely written off. It completely threw me. But it's just one of those experiences that I'll never ever forget.
It's so grounding, isn't it?
Yeah.
We did one in South Africa, and it was on a bridge bungee, but man,
it's just the sense that there's something greater than you as well. It's like kind of daunting. It's like, Jesus Christ.
We went away kind of recent, a month or so ago, went to an Airbnb, but me and Chris, and yes, we were in a hot tub, but it was when we were just looking at the stars again, having that sort of hippie chat.
Yeah.
But you reset yourself, don't you? Do you know
just
when you're near a mountain or looking at stars or in Mother Nature in some way, it becomes so real. We are part of this. This is our existence.
This is what you are being.
When you've been so wound up on something that happened on a Tuesday and you can remember the time and everything that surrounds it, and then you look at a star and you go, what am I doing? What is all this bonkers?
My nan's place is like that. She lives way out in the middle of buttfuck nowhere in Lincoln. Like it's like 2 acres of land, nothing around, and at night it's deathly silent. And I hate silence. Like I'll have music on from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. I live on a main road, love noise. But when you're out there, it's night. Like take a tent, build a fire, sit right down at the bottom of the garden, and just like take it all in, just the complete silence, and just looking up at the stars, and on a clear night it's just completely peppered. It's absolutely magical. But it's like those moments where you just sit down and you reflect and you can just decompress almost back into
I truly believe
life.
People that live in them areas, mountainous areas, bumfuck nowhere areas, they're happier people. You can sense it in their soul, in who they are, how they approach you. They don't take life so seriously.
Could be because there's less people as well.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Encounter less dickheads.
Yeah.
But they're getting into their early, mid-80s now, my grandparents.
Really?
And they're still fit as fiddles.
Healthy as anything.
2-floor house, my nan's up and down the stairs like nobody's business. 2 acres of land that they've got to look after. They're always trimming, always like pruning, growing veg and stuff. So.
Our biggest killer's got to be stress though, hasn't it?
Oh, 100%.
You're filling your body constantly with cortisol, really bad toxins in the blood. Every time you just work yourself up.
But that's what I found with working in this office job, man. And when the opportunity came up to like take voluntary redundancy, I was like, that I'll get a payout, so I'll be fine for a few months until the world stops being on fire, and then we can kind of get back to more normality for a bit. Yeah. It's not even warm.
No.
But yeah, like just having that time. Once I think the 26th is my last day, so I'm looking forward to then just doing nothing for a couple of weeks.
Go on and let's hit to Future Tom. Let's talk about that guy. Guy.
God knows where he's going to be.
We're in 21. Is it a very musical destination and journey you're travelling to? And
I'd love it to be so much. Like I've got such a passion for it, and like all I've ever wanted to do was make music and just work within the music industry in some way. Like even if it's like a studio engineer or even just working in a studio, like I'd love to get the experience.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to like be a sound engineer or even doing like stage management or something, just something that's creative where you're not in an office, where you're not like confined to being professional 100% of the time, and you can swear every now and again and not get pulled up by HR.
Boob.
Yeah.
See, you just did it on here, sorted.
Yeah, I think with this time off when I'm not looking for work will be spent with my head in my Mac, just writing and just improving and trying to get more stuff finished, work with other people. Like we've got 2 tracks that we're working on together now.
Yeah, Leicester City. The boys are doing well at the minute as well.
Are they? I've literally not watched barely any football since Christmas.
Won 4-0 yesterday in the FA Cup, so they're
decent.
Forwarding through that. They'll probably have a... Did you see Derby lost to...
Amazing.
Oh, mate. What is it? Chorley?
Chorley, I think it is. That's right near Manchester.
My dad was a semi-pro footballer. He played like Heanor Town.
Oh, nice.
But he played for Alfreton Town that are in Chorley's league.
No way.
Yeah, he's like, we used to play Chorley all the time. I was just like, that's mental. Exciting.
Did you see the Villa game the other night against...
Who did they play?
I think it was Liverpool. It was Villa-Liverpool, and obviously COVID's ravaged the Premier League, hasn't it? So Aston Villa basically played their youth team.
Oh, okay.
Liverpool were 1-0 down after like 15-20 minutes, and then their 17-year-old forward skipped through the Liverpool defence and just poked it past the keeper.
Wow.
Imagine being that kid's dad, man.
Oh, mate, that's beautiful.
Lifelong Aston Villa fan.
Yeah.
You just watch your son tear up a Premier League defence and just slot it past the keeper.
I'm getting emotional thinking about it.
Just makes you well up with the amount of pride that guy must feel.
Did you see his celebration? Did he go mad for it?
Of course he did. He ran over to the bench and just like lost his shit, man. Wouldn't you?
I used to play a lot of sport, rugby, football. I've done my ACL now, which basically holds your knee together.
Yeah, it's like the main one.
Yeah.
It's like if you bust that, that's
and
it.
MCL. ACL, MCL gone, and I can't get it operated on because COVID.
Oh, right.
Got to wait like 2 years apparently. But I really miss my sport. But I remember...
it's classed as a non-essential, isn't it?
Mate, it's pretty big to me.
It's essential to me.
I could kind of do with that.
I'd like to walk.
And I remember, I think probably about 14, but when I was playing rugby, because I was a big kid, I was a prop forward, big fat fella, but we were playing this game and it was the final match and the winners got to play at Twickenham, so where England play, and we won it, but I got the winning try.
So you milked that.
My dad was on the try line or just behind it, and I went mad. So all my mates were in a mall pushing me over, and my dad's screaming, "Go down," because I didn't realise I was over the try line. So I went down, scored, and he just ran on, pushed all these kids out of the way, just like, get out of the way,
and just
lifted you up. I remember that moment. That was a really special one.
Man, like Rafiki.
Yeah. King. we had one last one, but it was only so jokes because we used to play five-a-side together.
Yeah.
So he's like 50, and he's probably 60 now, nearly pushing.
Yeah.
But he went to veteran football.
Yeah.
So then
oh, nice.
Before
is that like the Masters football that they used to do?
The older guys. You're allowed like a few youngsters, maybe 2 or 3 in, but then everyone's got to be over 45 to play, or
Fair.
40, I think it is. Yeah. But then we went to play five-a-side together, so I'm 15, 16, and we're in this league, and again, it's a final match, and my dad's he's a good player, to be fair. And we had
semi-pro, he must have been.
Well, and he had all his semi-pro mates on, and then me running around. We played this horrible team,
just cropping you left, right, and centre.
Every tackle was, we're going to try and break your leg tackle.
Yeah.
And my dad's protecting.
That's 5-a-side.
Yeah, it was. I remember turning up, saw who we had, and they're a good team. We're a good team, both at the top.
Yeah.
They just panicked, like, oh, this is going to be a hard game. It was. Yeah. But we scored against them in the last second again.
Nice.
And it was my chest, knee, flicked it to Dad. Dad volleys it.
The father and son glory moment.
And we went and just went mad together. That was pretty
that's
special.
A special moment.
But just reflecting on that and seeing so many sports moments crop up where the dad and the son relationship, so beautiful, isn't it?
It's amazing. And my dad's always, I don't think my dad's seen me play a set like when I've been DJing yet. So that's
really?
I don't think he has. I can't, well, obviously he's not going to come to a nightclub or anything, is he? When I'm playing it, when I've got
I don't know, have you seen Kevin and Perry?
when I've got a 4 a.m. set and it's just banging techno for 7 or 8
Come
hours.
on, man, fill my mind. Really paint a picture of what this is. Give me an idea of you at a 4 a.m. dance set, because
it's been a while.
I've been to raves. I've done a few raves, but I've not been for a techno or dance.
Like
night.
I got into DJing when I first started DJing. I learned in my mate's bedroom on 2 drum and bass vinyls. Like, that was it. Just 2 turntables, 2 of the same Chase and Status vinyl. And it was just like, right, this is this tempo, this one's this tempo. You use this to match him, and then you've got to bring it in and see what you can do. And I was there for about 2 hours, and eventually I got it. And I was like, well, that's me now. I'm never not doing this ever. Like, I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. So then when I got my first set of decks at 18 and I could practice more and stuff like that, like, I started mixing drum and bass. So I was a real bass DJ for ages, like drum and bass, garage, grime.
So like, what's the room like? What's the most you performed to? Where have you been at?
Most I've performed, there's 2. It's the first
2 people.
No, 2 occasions. Although there has been a lot where there's been 2 people. But the first one I was 18, and it was my girlfriend at the time was in Man Met Uni, or one of the Manchester unis, and one of her mates ran part of the students, one of the societies that ran the student festival that they do every year called Pangea.
Okay.
And we were all around at hers one night, we were drinking, having a laugh, and then he was like, you DJ, don't you, Tom? I was like, well, yeah, bits and bobs. I've never really, I haven't played a set for a while. And first set I ever played was in a club that I couldn't get into. Like, I wasn't old enough to get in. Like, second set was in a pub function room that was packed out with about 300 people all around our age.
Okay.
But this Pangea one, he was like, oh, well, I'm running this festival. Did you want a set? Like, I'll see what I can do for you. I can't promise anything. And I was like, well, yeah, see what you can do. It'd be great if I could play. If not, don't worry about it. Like, don't, I won't hold my breath kind of thing. And then I get the flyer through and he's like, right, you're opening the main stage. I was like, you what? The main stage, the big one, Manchester Academy 1, where I've seen some of my favourite artists play.
Dude, I got goosebumps.
Yeah, like, it was insane. And it was like a big lion's face on scaffolding, and I had to go up, like, I was about 4 meters off the floor.
I am in Mufasa.
And there was literally just a little square that I could see out of and a set of decks, and that was all I had. And it was just an empty Academy 1. And if you've, like, huge, I think it's about 6,000-7,000 cat, but it was just this huge room, big stack monitors, and then the proper festival speakers. So the bass was rattling this scaffolding, and it was just insane. And then obviously started to go through about half an hour, they start letting people in, it floods in. There was probably about 2,500 people by the time my set finished. And I was just like, came off just absolutely crying.
Were you, because they say a lot of people in sport, in music, in whatever it is, they go into a state of flow or wu. Were you in there, or were you quite conscious of what was going on?
I had no idea what was going on until because I just had my laptop and my little controller that I used at the time, and I was just looking over at the laptop the whole time because I didn't want to fuck it up. So I was like, I better not. I just want to concentrate on this. And I'd have a little look out every now and again. Oh, still empty. Have a look up again. Oh, still empty. And then like 2 or 3 tracks left, I look up and there's like crowds of people just coming in. I was like, shit, right, just stop looking at that for a bit, let's keep back on the laptop. And then I finished, I came down and kind of walked out, and I was just like, what has just happened? Like, dude, it's so insane.
That's exciting.
It gives me goosebumps still thinking about it.
Yeah, I got them from just imagining it. So being there.
The second most I think I've ever played to was at Bodega in Notts.
Good venue.
I'm a resident DJ at a night called Where You At. We've kind of moved away from the Where You At sound, and the guy who runs it, Deck Shuts, produces and stuff under Desmond, makes really chuggy, like Romanian minimal stuff. It's real heavy.
Dude.
But he runs a company called Werewax now, so it's all vinyl only, buys and sells vinyl and stuff. But Where You At put a party on in Bodega. It was, I think it was the Euros. Whenever England played Iceland, I think it was. And
did we lose that one?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it was the day, I think it was the day of that game, and we had the outside area, so there's the big long smoking area in Bodega, and they used to have the beer barrel hut at the back, so we had a big Function 1 sound system, set the decks up on there, and I had the 8 p.m. slot, and it probably wasn't about 2,500 people as it was in Pangaea, but it was Ramo. 1 in 1 out from like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm thinking, my set's coming up at 8 o'clock, and this is whammo.
What were your nerves like before that?
I had a lot to drink, so it wasn't too bad.
But what was your set like then?
The set was mint. Like, it was one of the best. The best feeling I've ever had was there, and it was a tune that I'd made. not for the night, but I'd finished it properly, and like I think I'd remastered it or something, or remixed it, and played it that night. And obviously you're mixing tunes in, and then when it drops and everybody goes nuts, like there was a few of those, and it was building and building and building, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna have to drop my song in it just to see what happens. Played it, the whole place went fucking wild.
Seriously?
Yeah, like people were flowing inflatables and stuff, and I'm just there bouncing behind the. Oh man, it was so nuts. Like, it was
an overused word is vibe.
Vibe.
Vibe. There was a vibe. There was a vibe. But
vibes.
It's a true word, though, isn't it? Especially in music, when you've hit it. When you've hit an energy.
You feel that. Yeah, you feel that energy of the crowd, and especially when you're in control of the music as well. You almost feel like
so confident.
You've got the power to change how everybody's feeling right now. Like,
I had it in poetry. I'm doing I teach at schools and give assemblies, and I've done with teachers as well. So I've spoken to NQTs, newly qualified teachers. But when they're in your side and they just want to listen, and you could pin drop silence, it's nice when you can, as an artist, just dictate however the mood is set and what's going on. You're fully in the zone then, aren't you?
And especially with, like, I can imagine it's like much like heightened in poetry as well, because it's just you on a stage and a mic.
Feels very emotional.
Yeah,
everyone's very conscious, aware, and the feelings all absorbed on you.
And that's when you've got to be careful with how, like, the way the inflections on your words and stuff can really change.
You can, if you're doing something very like a somber piece. I do one on knife crime. I lost a friend to a knife crime incident, so it's the feeling's always there. I can mostly get into that place. I've had poems before, or performances where I've been on a stage, half an hour set, and halfway through or a bit later on, I'm just saying the words. I can feel it in me, and I can feel they feel that. It comes across.
The energy kind of bounces back that they're feeling.
When I'm on there and I just feel, I mean it this time, I've got a fire burning, I start going, and then I could pause for 4 seconds if I want, but they're in.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're very conscious they're not in, if you pause, it creates more awkwardness. It builds
can instantly
up.
Tune out almost.
So you have to be very thinking of who's in front of you, how they're receiving it, what's happening.
Yeah.
Do you get that then as well with DJing, or is it pretty...
It depends, because sometimes you're set back really far from the crowd. So sometimes you don't... I prefer gigs where they're like I'm in the DJ box and there's people there, because you get arms over and all
high-fiving you.
Yeah, just having like a low ceiling, proper gritty, like so when it's like that and it's really close and like quite intimate venues, you really feel it. But then sometimes, like with the Pangea set, because I was so far back, like it was still incredible, and I was just absolutely off my head on adrenaline, but like. It wasn't the same feeling as it would be if they were there, but I could still feel the energy. It was still incredible. But yeah, those tight knit venues, I always find I play better there because I can feel it and I can bounce back. And when you're doing like little chops and little cuts in, you can see people's reactions to them. And like when you slowly fade in, like for a build up and like a big drop, you can almost like see people like in the back, like, come on, I'm waiting for it.
And this is mainly dance music then?
Yeah. Whenever I DJ, it's normally
dance,
like that house, techno, garage.
Have you done like an old school disco? Do you know?
Yeah.
Old 80s stuff.
Yeah, I DJ'd my cousin's wedding.
Did you?
Yeah. So I can do those kind of things. Like I DJ'd at Missoula. I've DJ'd a couple of bars and stuff, like just pop hits in the background. I was a resident at Saltwater for a while before it got changed into Alto. Yeah, that was quite fun. But yeah, like
it's just sometimes 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
You can't go wrong, man.
Oh, mate,
I'm a huge 80s
and when they're just
fan.
doing banger, 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 banger,
especially if it's like the new romantic era of the 80s, like Spandau Ballet, Depeche Mode, Hall & Oates, Stock Aitken and Waterman, like just banger after banger after banger. Like I was just
listening to all those you were saying, and I had what's that? You can call me Hannah, I can be a long lost pal.
Oh
you can
God, what's the name of it now?
Betty, when you call me out. Paul Simon. Is it Paul Simon?
Simon and Garfunkel?
No, it's not Simon, but that was the one that was really
I know
in my
the
head.
song that you mean.
You can call me Betty. Oh, sorry, everyone. I've gone inside my head. I'm going to get this tune. It's just
we'll get Shazam out.
And I tell you what, some R&B nights I've been to, or soul.
Funk and soul nights, man.
I'm so into Sam Cooke and Bill Withers, Otis Redding era. I've been to nights by accident. Me and Chrissy went to, I think it was no, not Ireland, Scotland. They're not the same thing, you know what I mean?
Don't say that to an Irish person.
I'm so sorry. We're all one, remember? We come from stardust. Be calm. So we went to this club and we thought, oh, this looks shocking. Really rubbish. We'd just got out. I think it was about 9 o'clock. So you're like, where's good to go around here? Nowhere open really. Went in, wandered upstairs,
just found a bar,
and it was just packed. It was soul music. Nice. Everyone was up dancing.
They're the best.
Cocktails flowing. Dude,
they're the best though when you just find a little nugget.
I nearly cried.
Yeah,
I
can
really
imagine.
did. I just couldn't believe it. I was feeling a bit low and somber, and
you're just like, we're never going to find anywhere.
It's just we should go back to the hotel and watch a film. Oh, we were there till about 2 a.m. Yeah, just going up.
I've been to a couple of. There's one in. Well, there used to be one. I've probably still running when it's open, but Rapture at Bar 11.
Yeah, I know Rapture.
Yeah. Lee Eden, the DJ there, goes Animist. I've made a few tunes with him. He like sick funk and soul DJ.
Got all the connections, man. You got the links.
They're all just people that I've met since moving to Nottingham. Like,
how have you gone about networking now? How have you met them?
Well, when I first moved to Nottingham, I worked at Turtle Bay, and I ended up there was a girl that I was working with that I got on with really well.
And she
just broken. No, she's gay.
No.
We're still best friends to this day.
Nice.
So I obviously did something right as a friend. But she'd just broken up with her girlfriend, and there was another girl there that was looking for a house. And I was like, well, I'm living with my auntie's house. I've not really got. Well, I had freedom. I could come and go as I pleased, but it's like I didn't really have my own space. I was in my cousin's old room, so I was like, let's get a house together. Like, why not? I'd only been there like 2 months. Fuck it.
Nice.
What can go wrong? So we all moved in there, and then the other girl, Bronwyn, she ended up dating this guy that ended up being Deck. and I went to Picture and Piano and just met him for a few pints one night. We had a couple of jars, and then he was like, "Oh, you're a DJ?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've got some decks back at mine and stuff." He was like, "Oh, well, I DJ too. Check out all these parties that I've put on." And he was like showing me old Where You At photos in like a swimming pool, and like, oh man, it looked.
I don't know if I can do this any longer.
I was
Shut up, COVID.
I know. Open the clubs and bring back weekly bin collection while you're at it. But yeah. So then I met Deck, and then we came back to our house and we set up the decks and had a mix, and he was like, "You can play at my next event." And I was like, "Well, I'll get you a set and we'll see how it gets on, and if you do well, we'll go from there." And then about 4 or 5 tracks into my set, the whole place is jumping, and Deck comes over and he's like, "Welcome to Where You At." And I was like, "Yeah." That was the same night.
What a guy.
Have you heard of Window Kid?
No.
So when is a he works with Crewcast and like Darksy, Brucey, like massive Nottingham MC.
Yeah.
Sick MC as well.
Really?
And this was before he'd like taken off. I think he'd got a couple of tunes out. We're talking like 4 or 5 years ago. So before he was like as big as he is now,
right?
And deservedly so.
What's his name?
Window Kid.
No,
Greg.
Genuinely, but sorry, Greg. No, you're not watching. It's just me nan on now.
He was there that night for my first set with Where You At, and I was playing garage and some instrumentals and stuff, and he was emceeing in my ear, and I was like, I really wish I had a mic, but I can't. Like, I wish I had a mic, but I don't. Like, next time I play, if I can get a mic, you can more than welcome to spit over. It's like such a surreal moment. And now he's like going out and shelling shows in Ibiza and stuff, like huge festival sets and stuff. The guy's nuts. Hilarious as well. He'd be great on here. I think he'd be fantastic. He's so funny.
Ibiza and Maga and all those places, that way you'd kind of like to roll up at?
I've done Ibiza for 5 years.
No way!
Yeah, I've done it 5 times.
God, where are we on in the podcast and we just got to there?
Like, I love Ibiza. Like,
but performing.
I've never performed abroad, but I'd love to.
Is that
It's a destination for any DJ. If you're playing, if you're into dance music and you want to be a DJ, Ibiza's the place to be.
Still, obviously not talking COVID terms, but
well, there's like, Ibiza's like where most of your Miami's got some great clubs. Dubai's obviously coming up with its huge extravagant scene. There's just so many places. Australia, New Zealand, and New Zealand's probably the best place to do now because they're COVID free.
Yeah, good on, guys. But they're not having anyone over there, are they?
Oh no, not at all.
Fuck off, mate.
But yeah, man, like Ibiza's just such a special place. Like, there's.
I did Maga,
whether it's
but
true,
it's a bit dotty.
It's apparently. Oh, I've done Maga as well. It's rough, innit?
It's really dirty.
Now, I've read somewhere, I don't know how true it is, but that Ibiza's one of the most electromagnetic places on the planet.
Okay.
Like, that's... I've got
a book in there, 500 random facts. I've not seen that one in there, so...
But, like, again, I don't know how true it is, but if that's the case, that's got to mess up your perception of time or something. Because when you feel there, like, you'll wake... Well, when I was there anyway, get up at 11, straight on the beers.
Yeah.
Have some food, go about your day, and then you go, oh, it must be getting close to dinner time now, and you look and it's like 2:00, and like time's just moving. Whether that's just because you're on holiday and you're having fun, or whether it is something to do with that, I don't know. But it's just such a special place.
I don't understand it because the Christmas period, I let myself go.
Yeah.
I've been giving it some, and even further on, we're about a week in now, ain't we?
Yeah, just about
New Year, but I just can't keep going on their beers now. I had 2 nights with Chrissy away. We've been away for the baby for the first time, and we're just crippled, literally crippled. So what do you do when you're in a crippled, hungover state? You watch bad TV. So what we put on, I feel a bit naughty for saying this, but Geordie Shore. We just
trash telly.
We just watched trash telly, put a big spread of food out. Thought, I've not really watched Geordie Shore. I've heard things, but it's rubbish. We need to just relax. We're about 3 seasons in.
You're both hooked now.
I got lost. I got fully lost in it. I
did
was
the
up
same.
till 5 a.m.
There was one like that. It wasn't Geordie Shore. It was called The Valleys. And it was the Welsh version.
There you go.
I was watching Gavin and Stacey at the time, and all of me and all my housemates when I was in uni were all talking to each other in a Welsh accent, and we loved it. And then this came out, and it was just a bunch of Welsh pissheads, and we were like, yes!
But this is what I'm talking about, and linking it even to the scene of Ibiza, Maga, and all that. How do they sustain it? Because they're all ripped to shreds.
Yep.
Another level ripped to shreds. But every other night is Thursday. We may as well get on it then. When does that warrant getting wankered? But Thursday. Now it's Monday. Got to get wankered.
Yeah.
But
It's definitely not a sustainable lifestyle.
I don't understand it.
I had a 3 or 4 day bender over Christmas.
A few of them got to season 21 though doing that.
Yeah, it's like, well, they had to change characters, don't they?
That'll be like pretty much stays in for
the bits that they film. They'll probably make it seem like it's every other night, but really it'll be filmed over like a big long period,
dude,
won't it?
The genius construct of producing and they're like masterminds, aren't they? The people that make these shows.
Yeah, it's like how influencers though get big. It's like you buy into them as people, like as celebrities. You don't buy into like. You're not buying into a product. You're buying into a person. Like you get to follow their journey. And because it's so mad and everybody's fighting and everyone's pissed all the time, and then there's someone shagging in the corner, and then there's 2 blokes having a fight in the kitchen.
That was my last weekend.
Like you buy into the chaos of it all, and I can see why people get hooked on it, but I don't understand why people get hooked on Towie and stuff like that.
I tell you what, that I had to sort of
the posh version's not as funny.
I gave myself a bit of reasoning. You know, I wasn't willing to just sit there like a brain dead zombie going, I really like this show. I'm just like dribbling. But then I was going to Chrissy, no, do you know what we should do? We should psychoanalyze it. We should go and really understand.
Let's pick apart these people.
These are people of our society, so this must be something people invest in. It's a very popularized show. So I was like, let's psychoanalyze how they are in a really snooty, condescending manner. I was like, I'm going to really
go into I'm better than you.
the psychology and philosophy of it all. But I've really got to give it props to the people that make the show.
Yeah, to keep it interesting
as well. It's addictive. It really is. And it's quite fascinating seeing the Big Brother-esque attitude.
Take on it.
First of all, you've got these young 20, 21-year-olds who think it's all just about partying, shagging, fighting, and then later on you're seeing the breakdowns and the insecurities,
like the downfalls when they're hungover and they're like crying into a bowl of Cheerios.
True personas come out, and the youngsters that watch this and take the wrong message away and go away thinking, partying, when it's like, did you not watch the other 80% of their whole entire breakdown, who they became?
You've seen why they went out drinking to forget about the girl that fucked them over.
Yeah.
And then now you see them breaking down about the girl that's fucked them over. So you're not winning.
Stuck in loops on entirety of this one person.
It's only temporary, but I can drink loads, but I'm trying now to have a year or so where I kind of tone it down a little bit. I'm getting a bit
toned down. I like the vagueness. It gives you a little bit of leeway.
I was like, I'm going to do dry Jan, and then I kicked in 2 bottles of white wine on Saturday night, and I was
Two bottles. That is what you just said. Completely contrasted and contradicted the statement. Because 2 bottles that's a good going.
Yeah, it just like as soon as that I don't have an off switch, so as soon as I start drinking, like that's it, I'm getting pissed. It's hard. I struggle to just go out for like a couple of beers, because then I'm in the mood for some fun and some mischief, and then I'm like, let's cause a ruckus and just get really pissed.
Marijuana, have you dabbled in substance, or are you pretty much clean?
Not.
I'm just saying it's good, because hearing who you are as a character,
not a lot, but
it sounds like you'd go on an arduous, rocky path if that was the direction you took.
Like I've got quite an addictive personality in some areas, so if I was to dabble in things that I've dabbled in more, I think it could be a problem, but I've just kind of had to put a pin in some of it and just be like, you're too old for this shit now.
You sound very self-aware, man. You sound pretty understood of who you are and what
that's
you're about.
Only really come in like the last year or so. Like obviously being stuck inside, like I think if lockdown hadn't happened, I'd probably have ended up in another relationship, and I wouldn't have. It sounds corny and cliche, but I really think in like the last 10 months I've really kind of explored who I am a bit more, but that's only because I've been forced to, really. Like, because like you said earlier on about how you were stuck in like a cycle of love, like I was in relationships kind of almost back to back since I was about 17.
Oh mate, we're so similar, man. We're gonna be mates from this.
I can tell.
I hope us in the future. I hope we're still seeing each other.
But like, so when I broke up with my ex-girlfriend just before Christmas year before 2019, and I think if I had have carried on going out as I was and stuff, I'd have ended up in another relationship. Just feel guilty about saying no and stuff. And like, that sounds really weird, like, especially getting into a relationship. But obviously you do eventually develop feelings over time, and like you really enjoy spending time with somebody.
How do you deal with the breakup as well? Are you quite an emotional roller coaster?
Drink.
Yeah.
Just immediately, like, start...
a long process after, or do you sort of maybe give it 2 weeks and then you're moving on, or how are you
it depends. Like, when I broke up with my girlfriend before, my previous girlfriend, like, I completely went sober and joined the gym and was like, took that direction. But then after I broke up with my last ex-girlfriend and then got put into lockdown in March, like, I just basically, I had plans. I'd broken up with her at the beginning of the December, and because I had plans booked, like trips and stuff, so I literally didn't have time to think about it. And then when the crash hit in Jan after Christmas and it had all died down, that's when it was a struggle. And that's when you had to start of like, right, why didn't I think that worked? What can I work on in me to make it better, so next time it can work and it can be better.
Do you think this will heavily influence your artistry and how you write then? Will this come quite into your lyricism?
I think that's... Because I can't... Do you know there's people that write stories and writers and they can just pluck stories out of thin air and come up with concepts and stuff. I'm not really, like, wired that way. I can't just... I can always write and talk about things that I've experienced in all right detail, I suppose. But if it's just like... I was never good at English lit or language, whichever one, where you write stories and stuff. I could never really grasp it.
You need to go from experience.
Yeah. So, me and Lawrence have written a new song, like one of the newer tracks that's going to be on the EP. That's about something that's happened recently in my life. You'll have to decipher that one for yourself. But I've got the track for you.
Are you
so
quite
I'll let
metaphorical then when you write? Is it to be deciphered? It's not too streetsy. I was in a pub and I didn't know.
Well, I find with the way Lawrence has kind of spoken to me about writing and stuff, the way he writes is he'll find like a word or a phrase and then build around that. And if the phrase itself is a metaphor, then everything's to be deciphered then, isn't it? So it's one of it depends on what I've got notes in my phone and stuff of like little things that I've written down. I think the last one, I saw it on an advert. It was like, there's no escape from the fierce embrace of time. What a great phrase. Like, it says so much but so little.
Say it again.
There's no escape from the fierce embrace of time.
Ooh.
Like
that I heard a quote today on a similar front, but it was used in war, and they always used to say the Americans have the watches but we have the time.
Nice.
Quite clever. Like, they're willing to wait around. You might have the money and the power, but we've got the time to wait for it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I think definitely the experiences from lockdown, obviously moments of loneliness, moments of sadness where you just don't think anything's ever going to end, moments of joy when the pub's open, man. The elation. Like, it's...
I feel as an art, and there is no right or wrong way of writing. I go into schools and try and heavily put that across, that, you know, your way is your way, and you all find a unique perspective of telling a story.
I saw your podcast with Morton Pierce, right? He was my manager at Turtle Bay.
Oh, right. Oh, cool.
When I first joined, he's fantastic. He is great songwriter as well.
Amazing.
But I watched that episode and you were talking about, is it a free write? Where you just write everything out and then you pick little bits out.
It's just, it's one of them ways I grew up, because I was dyslexic and I was told, stupid, you can't write, you can't spell, you can't. Yeah. So I just turned away from it. But I had so much to say. The teacher in front of me would have got so much out of me if they could have just found that little niche. Seed, that way of peeling it away and letting me say my piece, because there was a lot going on in my life. There was a lot of hardship, a lot of pain, a lot of bullying, so much mental illness, really, and mental disparage pain. So I didn't have anywhere to express it. I didn't know if you heard in that podcast the story of, I was probably 20 when I went to South Africa, and that was when I got a call from my dad, who told me my mate had been killed in a knife crime incident, and I never wrote a thing in my life. I just stuck away. And that was it. I just thought, you know what, I'm picking up this pen, I'm putting what I want to say on paper, and I just cathartic, and it flowed, and it just kept coming out of me. It was like a superpower, honestly. It just kept spilling
and spilling and spilling.
And then later on, when you meet creative heads or you're listening to stuff, you get a bit of imposter syndrome, and you think, oh no, I'm not writing in a simile or a metaphor or an abstract way. Look how these guys do it. But then you go to the streets and you do see that more to the point. This is what's happening, direct, and it grew me that attitude of there is no right or wrong way. Just do it, because it's a beautiful process for you. And you see so many young, I go to pupil referral units and young PRUs they call them. Yeah. You go in and they don't want to say their piece, but you hear them always going at each other.
They've always got something to say, but when it boils down to having something to say, they won't speak. Kind of
one little story of that, this lad, Zaid, and I went into this school. It's my first pupil referral unit, sweating, panicking, going in. I walk in, and he's so funny, about 14, and the teachers big me up massive. Oh, you'll love him. I walk in, I'm like, I'm your poet today, and Zay went, fuck off, mate. my teaching is over. My whole career done. But then I performed this poem on prison. I didn't realise his dad was in prison.
Oh, right.
But it was this guy who'd lived the wrong way all his life, and as he's in prison, an older guy gives him a poem, and the poem he reads is very conscious lyrics and trying to give him advice through it. So then Zaid listened to that and he went, that's not poetry, that's fucking sick. we created this rapport and this feeling, and then he went, all right, I've got something for you. And the teacher just looked shocked. She looked across and went, You're doing what? And he got the bag, and he just went in and he pulled out some paper, and it was all scrunched up, and then he got it out, and he'd been writing for years, and he'd not told a soul, not one person.
What, poetry or bars?
Like bars, grime, all that stuff. But we put on a beat, and oh mate, it was so deep. It was about his mum getting battered by his stepdad, drugs in the household, 14. His brothers fighting. And it was just so dark. But this was the lovely moment. There was 4 lads in this class.
Yeah.
All lads. So I look up, the teacher's crying her eyes out. All the lads just get up and go and hug him. Yeah. Just go, mate, that was so sick. And this beautiful connection. Oh, then that was my moment of, this is what I want to do. Yeah. I want to create moments like this. So important. But that's what lyrics can do. It's just a piece of you on a piece of paper, and just letting that come out of you and express. Definitely. But there is also another way of doing it, and another way, which is experiences you've not had, but telling them stories and imagining other people's. If you can be an empath.
Imagining like telling a story from another person's perspective,
getting their
kind
shoes.
of thing. Yeah.
And I think that's just as important and can be just as good if you've got a knack to it and a truthful way of doing it still. It doesn't have to be your journey, but it still needs to be your truth.
Yeah, it has to be someone's truth.
Yeah.
When you're saying
we're deep buggers, ain't we?
Oh, God.
But and I love that thing on perspective as well. In the latest thing I've just brought out, I say...
is that hard pill to swallow?
Yeah. And one of the last lines is, after ecstasy, back to laundry. But for me... that's actually a Buddhist quote, and it went before enlightenment, peel potatoes. After enlightenment, peel potatoes. The Dalai Lama come out with that, which was, don't change yourself after you've found the answer. Live on in that new piece of knowledge. But for me, that line wanted to be of a negative, because very literal. I was on about ecstasy,
being happy,
having a good time at a rave. But then laundry is so getting all sweaty, and then the next day you're back in laundry doing that.
Multi-layered.
But I wanted it to be a polarity of good and bad. And Chris was like, I love that really like optimistic line. I was like, oh, actually
there's a layer to it.
It's the beauty of writing, isn't it? As the artist, you get to write your own piece, give your own self across, but then it's everyone else's to decipher.
Exactly. It's like that continual adjustment to loss tune. That inherently should be a happy song because it's all in C major. There's a music box in there. It's just mellow piano. Sounds almost like a nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
And then the lyrics that Lawrence has put in have just it's polarity between the lyrics and the melody of the actual track as well. Because I mean, it's called Continual Adjustment to Loss. The lyrics are ridiculously sad.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he says. The second verse, something eating through a soft malaise, and woke up on the verge of hearing you. Like,
dude, has he got a book out, right?
No, but he writes loads, and he's got songs.
Cool.
All of his songs are all written by him.
He'd be awesome to actually have that wrote down as well.
Yeah,
as another avenue of accessing his work.
Like it'd be. Yeah,
because hearing it's one thing, but then reading it and going, like when I go through the Genius app and I'm like, what did Chance the Rapper say? and everyone's had a go at deciphering that. Yeah. But Lawrence seems like one of those that you need to kind of see visually as well as hearing.
In terms of...
No, well, it works both.
Like reading the words.
You can hear it and it sounds amazing and you can feel it, but actually reading it and just going, this guy's got a power to him. Do you know what I mean?
Very well read, incredibly intelligent, and an insane musician.
I'd like to see that.
He's a sick guitarist as well. This new tune that we've worked on.
I hope he's listened to this all the way.
He will, I'll send it.
So,
thanks, Lawrence.
I mean, I've got to get in a bit. You know, I've got a baby to look after.
You're a dad now.
You've got a life to live. Give us a bit of a roundup on where people can find you, what you've got coming out, and what's happening, man.
So on Instagram, I'm at Tom_Dawson1. Facebook is Tom Dawson Music. I don't really use Facebook that very much, so probably Instagram's the best bet. I've got an EP out on Spotify that's called You.
Is this the new stuff?
I've got a copy of it for you. There's You that's just come out. That came out last November. That's 3 tracks, and then I've got one coming out on the 29th of Jan, which is a 4-tracker, which is I'm so proud of this one. There's a remix on it that's insane. It blows my mind every time I listen to it.
I like how you feel your music, and you're humble, but you also know when you've done something really well. And I think that's important for artists. You know, when they just play themselves down, and it's like, it's all right, it's all right.
There's some of these tracks that I'm putting out, I've been sat on for 2 years, listening to. I'll only release a track now if I can still listen to it after making it 6 months ago, and I can still enjoy it and still listen to it. Because there was stuff that I'd put up on SoundCloud from years ago that I'll make a beat, put it up, see what happens. Make a beat, put it up, and see what happens. And nothing negative came out of it, but nothing really positive came out of it. And when I started to put stuff on Spotify myself, then that was only last year that I started doing that. I was like, right, I need to make sure that everything I put out is now the best that I can make it, and each one's got to be better than the last in some way. But that one's coming out on the 29th of January. That'll be on all platforms. It's called Snakes and Ladders with S, who's a brilliant hip-hop MC.
Nice.
And then 22nd of Feb, I've got an EP coming out on Karunga Musica, which is a Liverpool-based house and techno label. So that should be
so exciting for you, mate.
I'm so excited for all of it. 2021's hopefully gonna make some moves, man. Especially with this redundancy coming, and I can really focus, proper invest some time into it. Yeah, so hopefully it'll.
And we've got our collabs coming out. We need to keep going, keep stepping, and just growing more.
Yeah, 100%.
You've got my vibe all the way, dude.
All over.
Love you as a person. Love you as an artist.
And you, man.
Something special.
Something's definitely brewing.
Thank you so much for being here, man.
No worries, brother. Thank you for having me on, man. Bucket list moment for me. Doing a podcast.
Oh, matey. Guys, thank you for being here. You've been a part of the Old Farm Bus, Back at the Bus Sessions podcast. We're 2021. It's a new year. We need to be nice to one another. We need to be friendly. We need to not be dicks. That was your advice, wasn't it, dude?
Guys.
Don't be a dick. One love. Peace out.